Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the. Yeah. Oh, that's the attendance tracker. No, I don't have the agenda. There we go. That's what I was looking for. The July Fire Safety Council meeting. I was going to say May, and then I was going to have to blame that on Skylar. Anyway, welcome everybody. We will do welcomes and introductions. We will start in the room here. I will start. I am Philip Simi. I'm the emergency manager for Trinity County OES.
I'm Emily Acer with the Fire Safe Council and the RCD.
Emily Drain, RCD, Fire Safe Council.
Shay Callahan, RCD, Program Manager of Forest Health.
Elliot Grew, U.S. Forest Service, fuels out of Southwark.
Jill Cox, Board of Supervisors.
Chris Prenderville, Rural Fire.
Crystal Hodges, Trinity County Resource Conservation District, GIS.
Kelly Sheen, I'm the Executive Director for the Trinity County RCD.
Skylar Fisher, Trinity County Fire Safe Council Coordinator with the Trinity County RCD.
Carol Hall, Trinity Center, Volunteer Fire Department.
Ethan Greenfield, excuse me, retired Cal Fire Chief.
Okay, and then we'll go on to the board, and we will start with. We have Allie up there.
Hello, I'm Allie Lee with the Humboldt Area Foundation and Wild Rivers Community Foundation.
Thank you, Allie. Next we have, let's see, we'll go to Jerry Cousins.
Hi all, Jerry Cousins with the Trinity County Collaborative.
Thank you, Jerry. Someone's got a real pretty picture, but I can't see the name.
Dave Delaney.
Oh, Dave Delange.
Hello, y'all. Dave Delange, Trinity Public Utilities District.
Thank you, Dave. Let's see who else. Gina.
Yeah, Gina Moon here with the Willow Creek Fire Safe Council and an ambassador for the Salyer Southwark Road area.
Thank you, Gina. Chris Cole.
Hey, afternoon, everyone. I'm Chris Cole, the District Conservationist for the Natural Resource Conservation Service serving Trinity County.
Thank you, Chris. Casey.
Hi, Casey Toole, Burn Program Coordinator with North Coast Air Quality.
Thank you. Chris with Flora.
I figured out how to change my name. I was Skylar, so now there's can only be one Skylar.
I would go back to Chris, I would go back to Skylar.
I mean, it would be an improvement, right? But
yeah.
I wanted there to be not confusion. So Chris Losi, Flora, and looking forward to this meeting. Thank you very much.
Carl.
Carl Reisinger, Conservation Planner, the RCD.
Thank you, Carl. Larry Glass.
Larry Glass was SAFE and the South Fork Mountain Local Area Advisor.
Thank you, Larry. And Dina. Do you know?
Gina Magdaleno with Snungway Council.
Thank you. We do have somebody on the phone.
9925.
9925.
Hi, it's Timber from the Trinity Journal.
All right, thank you.
Oh, Randy Paris is coming.
I'm sorry.
Randy.
Randy.
Hello, Randy Paris, Watershed Research and Training Center. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. And then
Pat Frost with the Trinity Center Community Services District and I guess California Fire Safe Council.
All right. Okay, I think that is everybody in attendance today. Thank you all for joining. We will start with anybody have any additions or changes to the agenda? If everybody had a chance to look at the agenda. Not seeing anything or hearing anything. Do we have anybody for early departure? We're going to start at the with Watershed's Training Center and work our way back to the A's. So anybody that might need to leave early that wants to report out early, let me know.
Philip, that would be me. I have to leave about 2:15.
Okay, let me make sure I got
Thank you.
Barry on there, and then,
I'm fine with where the RCD is.
Okay, all right, okay.
after, so.
Okay. We'll jump into, discussion. We'll start with the 2025 Fire Safe Trinity Award. Skylar.
So at our last meeting, we decided how we would handle the nominations for the 2025 Fire Safe Trinity Award. The award that was established last year with Larry Winter as the first recipient for 2024. And so the Monday, I believe it was the Monday after our previous meeting in June, we launched through our newsletter, social media, and on our website, a voting portal where folks could submit their nominations for the 2025 Fire Safe Trinity Award acknowledgement. We got quite a few votes and folks nominated for the award. So, and within the nomination portal, I received nominations either through the reporting portal, through phone call, and through email. And across all three avenues of nomination, received a lot of kind words about the nominees. So in order to build up to who received the most nominations, I thought it would be nice to acknowledge those who also were nominated and some of the kind words that were said about them. So I have a 2-page, so please. Okay, so I'm going to start with the nominees. So we have Anita Fremantle, who is a community member in Hawkins Bar and a member of the Hawkins Bar VFD. The person who nominated her said, she has done so much work for many years. She has coordinated chipping, Scotch broom abatement, and constantly staying on top of communicating with agencies to get things done. Another nominee, Pat Frost, the person who nominated him said, he has contributed years and was the original one to enroll all the Firewise communities. Tim Ritchie. Tim's passion for fuels reduction is evident. The success of fuels reduction in prescribed fire was apparent during the Oregon fire of 2014, where the 5-cent prescribed fire and fuels reduction project of 2013 virtually stopped the forward progress of the Oregon fire. Tim is an active member in the community. He is currently the District Fire Management Officer on the Trinity River Management Unit. He takes every opportunity to use resources pre-positioned for fire response to further the fuels reduction and propose prescribed fire projects. His dedication to fuels reduction within the county and past successes is the reason why I believe he should be nominated for this award. Another nominee was Jerry Cousins. One of the members who nominated him said, continued work over the years to increase wildfire resiliency within the county and played a key role with increasing the wildfire cameras in Trinity County. Kenneth Baldwin was nominated. The person who nominated Kenneth stated, Kenneth has been working on creating more resilient forests in Trinity County for over 30 years. He is unique as an RPF. He isn't just a consulting forester, he has been a mentor to a couple generations of young foresters, helping them see both the forests and the trees. He helped write or wrote many of the early fire management plans in Trinity County and was a key member of the team that wrote the first countywide CWPP, the original plan that became the CWPP. Kenneth also served as a mentor and guide to many landowners trying to learn how to better steward our forests. Another nominee, Regina Moon. She has dedicated years to the Willow Creek Fire Safe Council and helped to see its revitalization over the last 5 years. She is a pillar in fire safety in her community. Another nominee, Chris Cole. As Trinity County's district conservationist for NRCS, Chris has expanded access to Firewise forestry practices for private landowners through technical and financial assistance. He continues to find new funding for this work, including securing over $1 million in extra Joint Chiefs funding to ensure financing for folks that stand to benefit the most. Our final runner-up nominee, Carol Fall, constantly thinking of her community and the county as a whole when it comes to fire prevention. So these were all folks who were nominated and had many kind words said about them. And these were all just I didn't even choose all of the words that were said for all of our nominees. And so the individual who received the most nominations was Charlie Holthouse, who is a community leader in Rush Creek and who is a neighborhood ambassador with the Fire Safe Council. One of the individuals who nominated Charlie stated, "Charlie has been the most active neighborhood ambassador that I have heard of in that program, and his effort to make the Rush Creek Estates fire safe have yielded tangible and very real effects as proven by the recent start along the highway that was then managed by him and others in that community. He may be too humble to recognize it, but he was a hero that day." So as we decided in the last meeting, since Charlie received the most votes, unless anyone says anything now, I would say that we could, similar to what we did with Larry Winter last year, we can put together a resolution and move it to the Board of Supervisors for his selection for the 2025 Fire Safe Trinity Award.
So moved.
Yes.
Second.
Congratulations.
Okay, the second item under discussion, local area advisor program, me. Okay, wow. Thanks, Tyler.
So this was brought to us by some local area advisors just to review the program and maybe receive input from any local area advisors in the meeting now.
Okay. Well, our program, and I wish that I forgot all about it, I'm sorry, because I planned on grabbing the list and so I can acknowledge everybody that's on it and the communities that they serve. Last year, Skylar and I put on a training session with all of our LAAs. We had great discussions. We had Tara Jones from the Forest Service. And we just kind of discussed a lot about the program and some of the duties that I see that program would really benefit within like a large wildfire incident. We're having somebody going to the cooperatives meetings and being able to offer beneficial solutions to back roads, things with gates, where water might be that they're not familiar with, and just help out the incident management team in any way they can. Fortunately, we haven't had the opportunity to use that, and I'm happy about that. I would like that we don't get into a situation like that. I would also like to, I want to kind of push this over to Caleb at HHS because he's kind of running the Ready Trinity program. I'd like to reach out to the LAAs to see about their thoughts on becoming a partner with that, so they could also, if we have new information to put out flyers or something like that, we can get it out to them. If there's any community events going on in their small communities, even if they're doing a pancake breakfast or I know like down in Sawyer they do maybe we're doing like hot dogs on a Wednesday night or something like that. Being able to bring that to people and promote this more and get more people involved in signing up for Ready Trinity. And I'll have a report out on that at my time on where we're at with that and some of the hiccups, some of the things that are already resolved. So some of the things that kind of got dropped off, we need to work on and finish up. We talked about getting them badges. I got that approved from the director of OES to create them badges so that at least when they were to go to an event or go to an incident command post for a cooperatives meeting, they're identified. So it's something that I will note and push forward this next week. Other than that, anybody have any questions regarding the program? I wish I had the list and we still have some, I know we do have some vacancies in some of our communities. We're pretty well covered. I think that most of our communities are covered, but we don't have secondaries, but I think that maybe we could do another push for applications. And so we can get those vetted through OES and then into the Board of Supervisors. Right. Oh, Jerry, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I'd ask Skylar, there's been a couple of small fires where incident command teams have come in. And I was wondering if any of the local area advisors had been contacted to be involved in the conversations.
Skylar and I talked about that. I never received any information on the Helena, if they actually set up any kind of a post as far as this year. Last year, we were fortunate enough to keep everything over on the Humboldt side, but we did have an incident command post in our county. But we didn't really have any fire over in our county. It was just to make it easier for the teams to get back over to the county line. So we haven't utilized them since that idea when we had that meeting last year. But I want to make sure that they're well representative and well known within OES. I have a deputy director and a director, and I want to reiterate at my next check-in that we would like to be able to utilize these team members in more functions than just an incident command, going to a cooperators meeting.
Great. Thank you, Philip.
Any other questions for me in the room? No hands up on the board. Okay. So now we'll switch over to grants and letters of support.
Are you okay leading the discussion? Yeah, sure. It's not really a grant. So CAL FIRE maintains a fire risk reduction community list. It is a list of local agencies in a state vulnerability area or a very high fire hazard severity area that meet best practices for local fire planning. And so every 2 years, CAL FIRE reviews that list. We were on the list in 2022, as was the Hayfort Fire Protection District and the High Palm Community Services District. So it can be a city, a county, or a local special district can apply for this designation. And it does two things. One is for things like the fire prevention grant that CAL FIRE currently has out there, wildfire prevention grant. You get extra points. You get a higher priority if you are a fire risk reduction community. And the second thing is you get another 0.1% off of your homeowner's insurance if you are a fire risk reduction community. So for a $3,000 annual insurance bill, that gets you $3. But I'll take it.
Well, you get your coffee out of it.
I mean, the cool thing is it recognizes that the local community is, the local governing body is involved in fuel management, wildfire risk reduction. For community services district like the Trinity Center, Weaverville, CSD, you only have to check 2 boxes to get this designation. One is that you're a FireWise community. The second is that you have a CWPP. And so it's really easy to get. We are in the process, the Trinity Center Community Service District's in the process of applying for it again. And you have to renew it every 2 years. So I asked Skylar for a letter of support. I do appreciate letters of support when you're submitting your application. And I just wanted to bring it to the Fire Safe Council's attention. I think the deadline is the end of August or August 21st, something like that. So if there are other people like Weaverville CSD or Lewiston or something like that, that want to apply for that. I just want to get the word out that it's pretty straightforward to do, and there is a, you know, small payback. And so, yeah, I'm requesting that you guys, if Skylar did a great job drafting a letter of support, that you guys would approve that.
Okay, so the letter of support is on your screen now. Hopefully you all had a chance to read through it. While Carol was explaining. Does anybody have any questions, comments, changes, anything based on this letter of support?
So I do have one thing. It's not really so much to the letter of support, but to your comment, Carol, that it's easy to get if you're, because you only need to be a Firewise community and have a CWP. And I know you didn't mean this because I just
Well,
want to say,
for a local district, it doesn't apply to counties.
my point is simple. I just want to give attention to the work that was done in order to get those two designations, for which you can easily check a box and receive that.
I mean, so Trinity Center would also apply because we have our wildfire response plan. We have other boxes to check. But that's my point is for other people that haven't done as much as we have, that is, you can just check those two boxes. And yeah, it's a ton of work to get to that point.
Yeah. Just giving credit where credit is due.
Okay, well, if there are no other, oh, I'm sorry.
I've just got a suggestion.
Yes.
We might not meet again before the deadline. And there might be other local jurisdictions that, now that they've heard about this, like to apply. And I would think that we could support you being able to sign similar letters or anybody else, any other local. I mean, without coming back to us.
Okay. Anybody else? If everybody's okay with me signing this letter of support as the chair of Trinity County Fire Safe Council, I will go ahead and do so. If anybody has any opposition to it, you can raise your hand. Seeing, I got a thumbs up from Gina, so okay. Seeing none, I'm gonna go ahead and sign this letter of.
I need to revise it. There's
Oh.
a typo.
Okay. You'll get it to me. Okay, we'll do a revision on that. Okay, item, the next item. We have a letter of support for the Trinity Public Utilities District Hazardry and Fuels Abatement Project proposal. With Dave DeLange.
Yeah, this is kind of a late submission. We are kind of new to the grant program, but realize that we can get a lot done through these. Hopefully, you know, the Community Wildfire Protection grant that we were awarded will move forward. We're still kind of waiting in the wings for funding for that. It was the 11th hour. But in the meantime, this second CAL FIRE grant had an opportunity to go over that, and I think our project, I was looking for a letter of support to include in this application. This project includes a shaded fuel break 150 feet wide, pretty much from Weaverville, linear structure all the way to Hayfork, along our 60 kV line. There'll be some portions of it for hazard tree abatement, but the majority of it is groundwork and shaded fuel break, and in the amount of $949,000, $800. So that would be my ask, and appreciate all the work you guys do.
Okay, thank you, Dave. As you are reading through this, anybody have any questions or comments for Dave?
So I have a question. So Dave, how does this work with the RAP project where you might be doing clear cuts? Would you go do a shaded fuel break and then clear cut later?
The RAP project was never intended to be a clear cut. The RAP project is establishing a widened right of way that we manage across federal lands, is what that project entails. So this project going over the hill to Hayfork is mainly on private land. There's a small chunk of BLM that's already pretty unvegetated and a tiny corner of Forest Service. So most of this is on private land. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Larry, your hand up.
Yeah, does this involve spraying herbicides as the end action?
No, Larry, this is manual hand clearing for shaded fuel break and chipping, broadcasting back onto the forest floor.
Great, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for Dave? Okay. Well, if no other questions or comments, I would like to sign this letter of support. If there's anybody that has any opposition to that, please raise your hand now. Anything in the room? Okay. I will say that. Thank you very much, Dave, for bringing that to the meeting.
No, thank you, Skylar, for the last minute request there. Appreciate it.
Happy to.
Okay. Last minute letter of support request, Skylar.
Thank you. So similar to what Pat was talking about earlier, sometimes we receive letter of support requests between Fire Safe Council meetings, where maybe we just had a meeting and we get a request and the proposal is due before the next meeting. Sometimes I get a request for letter of support and the letter is due in 2 hours. The timeline varies. I think what we've been doing so far is if we get a letter of support request and there's adequate time to put out the letter to the newsletter, we'll do it where the letter of support will be drafted, it'll go out to the newsletter, and we'll at least have a 2-day review by everyone. But there's been multiple times now where I've gotten a request and the 2-day timeline is not adequate, but I don't want to like send out an email to everyone that's like, review this letter within the hour, please. So I was curious the group's thoughts. I had talked to Philip a little bit about it. And my question is, to gauge the group's comfort level, if we get a letter of support request, Philip and I review it, there isn't adequate time to turn over a letter of project description to the larger group. Are folks comfortable within if we judge based on previous letters of support to sign it? Or would the group prefer that the group should always have a say?
I mean, it seems to me like people know when deadlines are. You can tell them if you need at least 2 days.
Yeah.
They should, if they don't give you the 2 days, I just think, reliable planning on my part is not a burden on your part.
Okay.
That would be my personal opinion.
I appreciate that.
Okay, any questions or comments on that topic?
Me personally, I know I'm a last minute person. That was not, but I do trust Skylar and Phillips. I think that they have a pretty good gauge on what the council leans towards. And I know if there was something that was a red flag in any of these letters of support, I would think that they would take the pause but again, I don't want to put any undue burden on either of you, but I do feel like a letter of support's not necessarily, you're not involved in the project. You're just saying you support it. That's my opinion.
Thank you, Dave. Larry? Larry, you have your hand up?
I think Randy had her hand up first.
Okay, sorry, Randy?
Thank you so much, Larry. Yes, I certainly get that we should be giving each other more notice about letters of support. But I do think we all have the goal of trying to do our best for Trinity County and for our communities. And it does feel like it would be nice if there was some recourse. I'm wondering, are there many letters of support that the council decides not to sign? Like, does that happen very frequently, or are most of the requests well in line with what the group is comfortable with and they mostly get approved for letters of support?
I've never, at least in my tenure, the council hasn't voted against a letter of support. The only letter that we voted against was we were reviewing those Shasta County letters, but that was something a little different, I think.
Yeah, so I don't know. I have a lot of confidence in our community of professionals here, and the types of projects we're recommending. And so it would be nice to have some process because yeah, life can be busy and we want to do good things. So thank you for the opportunity to offer my opinion.
Thank you, Randy.
I'll just say,
No, no.
like, I tend to agree. I think that this group has worked really closely together. I think that our record of supporting projects that are being brought before the council has been pretty high. And I would be supportive of, you know, this proposal, just, you know, with the understanding that it would be nice to then know, like, at the next meeting that, you know, that this had been like a 11th hour type of a request, and then as long as those are brought forward to the group and at least reviewed, I think that would be sufficient for me.
Okay.
So what I was going to say was that there's a lot of agencies and organizations represented here, and I think that that's a little tricky without having say over what we're signing on to. Not that I don't trust Skylar. I think Skylar's great, but I don't know that she can read the mind of every agency and group represented here as to what's going to be acceptable to them or not. So I would caution that I think there should be some process for people to be able to weigh in, you know, maybe an email vote or something.
So my concern is that if there aren't clear guidelines, like, you know, you need to have it into Skylar a couple days ahead of time so that she can get comments, that everybody, because we're all busy, everybody's gonna wait till the last minute. They're gonna dump on her at the last minute. So if you don't tell people ahead of time, this is kind of what we expect. I mean, people are just gonna say, oh, I don't have to wait. I mean, you don't have to give it to her early. I can wait till the last minute. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because if we do put it out to the group, we need to give them a deadline, still give you enough time. And if we're only talking a couple of days, that somebody contacts you, like Carol said before, it's, you know, it might just be poor planning on their part. You're gonna be putting a lot of people, you know, trying to scramble around to get their comments in, read it, get it to you, get it written. So, you know, maybe we come up with what's our minimum deadline for being able to, especially if it's in between a meeting. I mean, you know, like a lot of these, we have the month, or we may catch it just fine within the meeting, and it doesn't have to be submitted till the end of the month or the beginning of the month. But I think there should be a cutoff point that request for support.
One consideration you might want to think about is that whatever deadline you come up with, so that it's comfortable, and so that if it can be placed on an agenda, it gets to be. But sometimes, you know, to Randy's point, sometimes things do come to the attention of the individual past any deadline that it could be done, so that it's clearly not procrastination on the part of the individual or entity applying, but that they couldn't do any better than what they did, you might wish to make an exception in those cases for those very specific reasons. So we don't miss opportunities
Yeah.
for a point of rule.
Yeah. Okay. Jerry, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I understand that deadlines can really sneak up on people or just be thrown out at people, but I too would urge caution. And I think there's some responsibility that goes to the applicant to make sure that they incur their letters of support in a timely fashion.
Okay, so where do we?
I don't seem to be able to raise my hand. I don't know
Oh,
where the
okay.
button is, but so I apologize. I'm looking for the raise hand button and I couldn't find it. So, yeah, I was going to say, I think what would be useful, I agree with what's been said. I think what would be really useful is, when would be helpful? Because there's a point at which if you're working on it, then you say, okay, I could keep working on this, or I could get it to Skylar. So what day is that? Is that 3 days before, a week before? What would you like to have? Now, if we find out about an opportunity, and it's 2 days before, I would hope that we could still call Skylar and say, I just found out about this. Would you mind? Do you think we'll have time? But there is a point, you may know about it for a month in advance, and then it'll kind of get you, the deadline will tell you, oh yeah, to be fair, I want to get this to them on that day. So deadlines are useful in that regard, I think. Even though if they're not purely drop dead deadlines.
Anybody else? So how would you like to close that comment or close this topic out?
A lot of really great feedback. I'm wondering, this feels like a very administrative suggestion, but since the Fire Safe Council has really, like, especially in regards to our monthly meeting attendance, we've grown a bit within the last few years. So we have more folks regularly engaging here and reviewing these letters, and we're wanting to make sure everybody stays engaged and feels like their voice is heard. And the letters of support are a recurring topic. Nearly every other meeting we have at least one. I could write up like a 1-page memo or something like that and bring it to the next meeting and say, like, this will be the cutoff. Like, it seems like we're tilted a little bit towards not having the 11th hour letter of request. But at least having clear guidelines on what can be accepted and sent out to the group, because I believe we have done that 2-day review, but is that really enough? Especially since a lot of folks that engage in the Fire Safe Council are volunteers. Like, are they checking their emails every day kind of thing? How does the group feel about that, kicking it to the next meeting to kind of formalize how we want to handle this?
I couldn't find the button either, sorry. How about 5 calendar days before the next meeting? And then if it's within 5 calendar days, then it gets punted to the next agenda.
I would just add 5 working days, not calendar days.
Sure.
But I think the problem, Ben, is, let's say you had a meeting and then there's a deadline before the next meeting. So what we've been doing is emailing out the draft letter, and people can send in comments. If the comments have to be done and the letter provided to the applicant before the next meeting.
Yeah, I think that the onus has to be on the applicant for the most part, and not have Skylar running around with her head cut off 2 days before a meeting because the applicant wasn't doing their due diligence. But I mean, there's always emergency scenarios, but I mean, I think we all like having Skylar here and having her, mentally happy.
For clarity, this isn't about what can be submitted before the next meeting per se. It's in circumstances where there's a proposal that happens, like, that drops between a meeting but closes before the next meeting, which does happen. And so we would do all due diligence with regard to get it onto a meeting agenda if there was time. But what we're talking about is like, if this particular thing happens between those two meetings where, we didn't have the opportunity to discuss it one way or the other, and it needed to be submitted before the next calendared meeting, then and this doesn't happen very often, but it does happen, I guess is my point. And so, the question at that point is do we move that forward, or do we not? Or do we, stick with a more rigid decision that is like, okay, well, in that particular case, we give it 2 days, or we give it 5 days, which we would do anyways. But if the time period is too short, then there may be occasions where we've seen that happen where, we've missed an opportunity because we weren't able to actually do either of those two things.
I'll defer to Skylar. I mean, I think it's really up to her because it's her workflow. I mean, if it comes down to that circumstance, I mean, I do this every day. I'm a project manager. If you're going to put something emergency on someone's plate, what are you willing to have drop off of her plate in order to do that?
Well,
So I'll defer to Skylar.
It's Skylar's workload is definitely a concern, but it's also, this is a letter from the Fire Safe Council. So at what point does the Fire Safe Council get to provide any input? It's not just a letter from Skylar.
Hi, this is Randy again. I'm just wondering, I really like Skylar's idea that let's get some processes written down. And then I'm just wondering, totally hear what the group is saying. We want the preferences for the council to weigh in, the preferences to give people enough time to review. I'm just wondering if we could pilot this idea that there is kind of like some way to address the unforeseen. And if there are abuses, we could end the pilot of the program. Like if oh no, we found that everybody was asking for their letters at the last minute. Like I think there's a way to solve for each one of these concerns. But I thought Skylar had a very pragmatic suggestion to the group, Anyway, thank you.
So you think you're drafting up some guidelines and bringing it back next?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. I just want to make sure that everyone is being treated fairly.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like what can be regarded as a last minute, like does make it out in the email blast, but sometimes you get a last minute and then it's like, sorry, can't help you. So knowing that I'm operating on guidelines that are agreed upon by the larger group will make me feel like I'm working more confidently. So thank you everyone for the great discussion.
Okay, and last item is CAL FIRE fiscal year 2025-26 wildfire prevention grant.
Speaking of grants that are due before the next Fire Safe Council meeting, just wanted to highlight to everyone that CAL FIRE's wildfire prevention grants are open, as you already knew through Dave's letter of support request. And so those are due on August 6th at 3 p.m. And we sent out a link to the program website in our last newsletter that went out on Monday.
Any questions or for Skylar on that? Okay, Fire Safe Council Coordinator update.
Okay, my last speaking time for a while. Okay, I promise. So it's been a busy month for the Fire Safe Council. So at the start of July, we had our Community Wildfire Protection Plan Update Partner Meeting. Really great feedback and discussion group, collaborative discussions. over about a 2-hour span at the Reading Rancheria here in Weaverville. We covered a lot of ground. We went over some of the changes between the previous update, what's planned to be incorporated in the new update. We covered the ranking process for the priority projects, where we got some feedback regarding how, for example, the wildfire hazard potential data we were using may not be super as helpful. So potentially changing that data or merging that data being used in the ranking process with our fire history, because just using fire history on its own doesn't necessarily paint a full picture of risk. We also had discussions on the new action plan that's proposed for the CWPP, as well as discussions on the different categories used for the ranking and how that led certain communities to have higher ranked priority projects than in different regions, and how we felt about that. So really appreciate everyone who came out and engaged in that meeting. In addition, we've been reaching out to our Firewise community boards and have been requesting folks submit their Firewise contributions as we're thinking about the renewal that's coming up in November. Never too early to submit your Firewise contributions. Thank you, Carol.
Yes.
And then very recently, yesterday evening, we had a community event at the Pine Cove Marina neighborhood. We had about between 15 and 20 community members came out. We were in the community room, and we had our first evacuation board game night. So this was something brought to our attention by Carol, a UC Davis professor, created a bunch of board game assets and a board game for discussing emergency and evacuation preparedness. And so we used the assets, but then printed out a 24x36 map of the neighborhood and then put like game spaces. So folks would choose a vehicle based on the number of vehicles they had, and then started out with a player sheet depending on, and they got extra points or deductions based on if they had an evacuation plan or if they had an evac bag already packed. And every round you would pull a card and it would inspire a conversation about different things that can happen when you're evacuating, such as what you would do if there's a downed tree in the road, or if a vehicle is abandoned, or if there's a communication outage. So it was really exciting. It was a bit of our pilot for the evacuation board game night, but it was a whole lot of fun. Really did inspire a lot of great conversations. And then at the end of the meeting, folks took it a step forward and were talking about ways that they can support each other and those who might need additional assistance in the event of an evacuation scenario.
Wow.
So we were really happy to be part of that and help support that meeting happen. So, but I think that's been the bulk of what we've been up to over the past few weeks, and I can answer any questions.
Not a question, but just wanted to let you know, final state budget. He has the $10 million for the county coordinator program.
Oh, excellent.
And for Jill's benefit, it likely is going to require, you'll recall when we first got the state money for the county coordinators, the boards of supervisors had to decide what entity would get the money. And was our RCD. So that likely that process will be repeated somewhere down the road.
I'm sorry, what did you say the 10 million goes towards?
County coordinators.
County coordinators. Thank you.
Allie, I see your message in the chat. We were discussing how the state budget had allocated funding for the continuation of the county coordinator program, but it might go back to the county boards of supervisors to delegate who was going to be running that program for each county. We've been using our same letter from, I think, 21 or 22, so that makes sense.
Ben, your hand up.
Yeah, about the tabletops. Is that something that is going to be rolled out to more communities within Trinity County, or was that just a one-off with TC?
No, it was a really great time and we've done it once, so now we're more confident that we can replicate it. We got the gate pieces, so if residents are interested in us coming out to their neighborhood and doing it with them, we would be happy to schedule that.
It was in Lewiston.
I was in Lewiston. Okay. Thank you.
Is that, the 10 billion, is that a 3-year designation?
I don't know, I think it is, but I'm not 100% sure. But I know we're already talking about starting the legislature for the next. Want to get it so that it's just a line item in the budget. I think this one is probably 24 months.
2 year. Okay.
My guess.
Okay.
We'll find out.
Okay.
Is that the end of your report?
That is it for me.
Sorry, I had to run up, got this phone. Okay, we will go ahead and go to project updates, and we're going backwards on the list, so we will start with Randy with the Watershed Training Center.
Great, thank you. So I'm going to start in the south, I guess. The Watershed Center has been working a lot with the Mad River Ranger District, maintaining the Mad Ridge fuel break, largely in post-fire areas. Last year, we really focused on, now the piece of the fuel break is totally escaping me now that I'm talking about it, but we worked on pretty remote part of the fuel break, and this year we're down towards Ruth doing maintenance, and we've awarded a couple of contracts because there's big wood to move as part of the post-fire landscape, quite extensive brush regrowth after the August complex, so we have a masticator. And then there's handwork there as well. Another piece that we're really kind of digging into is the forest health work with Trinity Timberlands on Pelletrew Ridge Road. We're starting at the top of South Fork Mountain and working our way down. And there's another contractor that's managing some of the big wood in that fuel break. Looking out to the rest of the season, we are going to also be working on the Forest Service section of that Pelletrew Ridge Road, kind of extending the treatments from Trinity Timberlands onto Forest Service land, and it should connect all the way up to the ridgetop by the time we're done. So that's kind of exciting to see that happen. I reported last month, which that might have been the collaborative, I apologize, but we put out the timber sale for the pilot project and got no bids for the timber sale contract. And so we worked with the Forest Service to repackage the timber sale contract, and it's out again on the streets. And we're hoping that we changed it enough that we will get bids this time. It was mostly a standard problem that we have. The biomass was included as a mandatory item, and so now we've removed that, and it's become more service work. We're also helping to implement a large IRSC, an integrated resource service contract in Pettyjohn. We're in the last year of implementation on that. We're partnered with a out of the area contractor called Black Knight, and we're doing handwork in the Pettyjohn project area. And then we are getting ready to come out with scoping for the Junction City project now that Bowerman signed. So there will likely be some sort of field trip coming to fruition in September timeframe during the scoping period. So wanted to give everybody heads up that that was happening. And we're also coordinating with SPI as well, because they are working with the Forest Service to plan and implement projects. And there's some overlap between their priority areas and the Junction City planning area. So yeah, I think those are the big ticket items. Although I will say the fire program, they're kind of in their midsummer lull. So a lot of those folks are taking some much needed time. So sure they'll be back when it starts cooling off again. So just to update you on that. I don't know if there's any questions, but those were the items I had for everybody.
Any questions for Randy?
Randy, where are you at with Bowerman sign, where are you at with the implementation schedule?
So we had a very good meeting with the RCD and the Forest Service about the implementation schedule and making sure everybody was aware of the grant funding that was in place. And so our operations forester is going to get with Shay. We have to update some of the forest health units that were delineated for the watershed center work because that's some of the implementation work that already happened. So there's just those coordination pieces, but work has already started in Bowerman. Very likely the timber sale will come out so that it hits this fiscal year. And I should have a better update by next meeting, because we'll have started that process of really trying to eliminate overlap and sort of the moving pieces out there. I did forget to mention something. I wanted to report back on the Sierra Nevada Conservancy proposal that's out right now. I don't know if people are aware, but the Sierra Nevada Conservancy partially funded planning in Bowerman. They also helped us start setting up the Vibrant Planet modeling tool for the Upper Trinity that has now been expanded to cover the whole county. So they have real vested interest in funding an implementation project up there. And I talked to our current grant manager, and she recommended that next year there'd be a lot more resources in the system and an implementation project that helped cover Trinity camps and Bowerman and hopefully Highway 3 by that point. Might be much better timed if we took advantage of next year's request for proposal. So I said I would find out. Folks have smaller scale requests. I'm sure that would be beneficial, but we could get some real resources if we in. So, hey, sorry, I forgot that piece for the group.
So you're cutting out a little bit, but just a request for the Watershed Center and RCD, as you start work on Bowerman around the communities and in Highway 3, can you let me know? Because I mean, we get tons of questions, and I know you're going to be working around Covington Mill, both the timber sale and with the work in the lots that the Forest Service owns, and then you're going to be working on Highway 3. So rather than getting a lot of questions and I'm going, I don't know, can you let me know when you start stuff, please? Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And we haven't begun any of our work yet. So I will also say that the other moving piece in here is what the Forest Service has planned in terms of timing, but we will do our best to keep everybody updated.
Yeah, I mean, I've been out Bowerman Ridge Road. I see the work that's being done out on Bowerman Ridge Road. Just nobody else sees that. But as soon as you get around Covington Mill or on Highway 3, people are gonna wonder what's happening.
Great. Thank you so much, Carol, for the suggestion.
Any other questions for Randy? Seeing none, we'll move on to Willow Creek Fire Safe Council with Gina.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my video off to a low bandwidth. Anyway, I'm gonna start out with Salyer Ambassador. I want to thank the Hayfork Watershed for doing such a great job with our fuels reduction, the shaded fuel breaks along within my neighborhood. And it looks really good. And they camped out and just kept coming back day after day. And for a while, it looks really good. I want to thank you again. I also missed out on the tabling that Emily had there at the Salyer store. I apologize. Something came up. I missed that. I would like to add my fire safe email to all the lists. You can keep my personal one on, but things get lost in that. And it's at wcfiresafe.org, our moon. Anyway, yeah, that's good. Salyer's been pretty good. It's been hot down here. We've had a few power outages. My brand new Predator 350 power station has come in handy for my Wi-Fi. I bought it specifically for that, and that has helped. I can get on my phone because I do not have a landline anymore. And all the generators kicked on in the neighborhood, and I was content with just my Wi-Fi and a quiet thing all night. So anyway, and then also I want to say that the newsletter that's being put out is excellent. Thank you for that newsletter. It's got a lot of great information in there. And keep up that good work. Again, for the best meeting of the month. I agree. And so I'll bump over to my Willow Creek Fire Safe Council stuff. We survived the Bigfoot days on July 12th. It was 107 degrees. We sold snow cones. It was uptown on the pavement and hot. I also want to put out there, we called them a Firewise snow cones. So there was competition. A trailer rolled in with selling snow cones, and another lady was selling snow cones, but it was fun. We survived. I also would like to offer that snow cone machine if anybody wants to use it for some event within the county for you guys, whether it's a fundraiser or just, we invested in it. It's huge, it's heavy, but it is available, Emily or Skylar, if it, just something different. So then also our ongoing transition within this council has been going on for years, but it's starting to take, and then we're kind of, just building our crew capacity it's been fun. It's good. Thankful for the different grants, but within that we have, Olivia has been our coordinator within the CWDG now for the last 2 years. I want to congratulate her. She has accepted a job at the Humboldt County RCD. She's not going far. She's just going to add an extra hat, and then she'll be there for the Willow Creek area and our Fire Safe Council. So it's really good. I anticipate her learning a lot and coming back to the area, and then continue building that crew capacity up. Her replacement will be Jen, and she's exciting and interested, and it sounds like she'll be doing pretty good, taking on the existing PG&E grant that we were awarded for the work on Brown and Mountain. The Jones Family Tree Service will be starting soon, and then also continuing with the home assessments, helping Blaze and continue. We, out of the 330 home risk assessments, I think we're like almost halfway through. So that's been pretty good. The other thing that Jen will pick up from Olivia is the Blue Dot program and the addressing for the Willow Creek area, which we'll all be working on together and different aspects. And you can meet her at the community meeting that is happening on August 20th. It's CWDG for the greater Willow Creek area. So I'm sure Trinity County folks will be down for that, possibly some Forest Service, just to hear the upcoming remaining projects, the ones we're involved with, and the completion, to see where we're at with most of that. And we're also going on with the Firewise contributions, and that is, we're only with the Willow Creek Fire District that we are responsible for, but we are willing to help out with Salyer, Hawkins Bar, and Burnt Ranch, making sure that we're certified for those areas also. Yeah, again, excellent newsletter. Keep up the good work. And unless there's any questions, I think I'm think I'm done.
Hey, thank you, Gina. Any questions for Gina and the Willow Creek Fire Safety Council?
Gina, could you repeat your fire safe council email?
It's armoon@wcfiresafe.org.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move down to in the room here with Weaverville Fire Department, Chris.
We've got 43 properties on our list for this year to date, and we've completed 31 of them. So you guys know of anybody who needs some help on their property, I gotta keep my crew employed. So, any help would be appreciated. That's all I got.
That's wonderful. Okay, any questions for Weaverville Fire and Chris? Hopefully everybody heard that they're looking for more work. Okay, we'll jump down to Shasta Trinity National Forest. That's Elliot still?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, there, okay.
Hello.
I was looking on the board for you. I'm going, wait a minute. I think he dropped off.
No, I've been here in person today. Hello, everyone. So yeah, just a few updates from the unit, over the past month. So our fire management officer, Randy Jennings, retired officially on the 10th. So we've been transitioning into a detailed, division chief, and his name is Mike Anderson. And, yeah, he'll be taking the reins on 120-day detail, and that, foreseeably should be shifting around to a few folks before they do a permanent fill in that position. So yeah, we've been, as far as a unit, we've been on the fuels and fire side, we've been in a transition period, with him leaving and Mike coming in. As far as projects, we have the Lime Dyke contract, that's a part of the landscape, the larger Pine Pond Fire Resilience Landscape projects. So that's been on hold for limited operating periods for spotted owl. Those are lifted, and we should be having the crews back working on that within the next week or two. They're currently busy with some projects they have on another forest down south. So we should be starting back up there. We have an agreement with the Hupa tribe, and they've started their work in that project area. I've shared that with you in the previous meetings. So they've begun some mechanical work out there, and they're soliciting the handwork and hand line out, and that should be coming out pretty soon, under that agreement. And then also in High Palm, we have our force account work. That is going to be starting next week. We've been kind of on hold with that over some heritage issues that we had to iron out on what we could do that would be acceptable out there. And for the most part, we have that pretty ironed out now. So we're going to be starting work out there, focusing on masticating roads to open those up. And then also working on the fuel break portion of it, which is the boundary between Forest Service and private lands. As far as that goes, that's what we got going on out there. So yeah, we'll be pretty busy out there. Let's see here. Stafford, I wrote that down. That is a future project that we're going to be engaging in, probably working with Watershed, and we'll be doing some work out there, hopefully within this year too. As far as burning, we have the Harrison Gulch admin site. I think I shared that at the last meeting. That burn plan is done and approved, and so we will be moving forward with that this fall. It's around 80 acres. Ewing, I am still working on that burn plan. It's not complete yet, but anticipate that to be available this fall as well. That's 40 acres. And then we have our pile burning all over the South Fork management side. We'll be focusing back in on the Trinity IRSC Red Mountain area. We have landing piles and Forest Glen for a site prep out there. Kellogg, that's 500 acres. And then we have some miscellaneous suppression repair panels all over the place that we'll be trying to pick up this year, weather allowed. Also, another few that are probably going to come into line for us starting this fall is a project that's going to be going out there, site prep on McFarland, over on the Yellow Bowl side, and then we'll be burning the 300 acres that is completed in the pilot area. So yeah, we'll be moving forward with some handwork here soon. Now temperatures are starting to cool back down a little bit. We're basing everything off of our project activity levels, so it's been pretty limited lately with the 100+ degrees in Trinity County. So yeah, we'll be moving forward. Continue. I'll probably have more to share in the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any questions for Elliot? Okay, seeing none, we will move on. I think Jerry did get a chance to?
I think Jerry hopped off, but we also have Bob. He has a report out.
Okay, Bob, do you have a report out for us?
It depends on which Bob you're talking about.
I only got one on the board. I'm sorry, Bob.
All right, yeah, I'm just here listening to see what's going on and everything, and just keeping an eye on the skies this weekend.
Okay.
He's on the
Thank you.
for us.
All right. Couple two, Sunugway with Dina.
Hi. I want to echo Gina's report for South Fork Road. She and I both are ambassadors for South Fork Road, and the Watershed Center was really good about making sure that they met with us and did the roadside cleaning the best they could. They also worked with a neighbor, the Bustle family, with their Scotch broom situation. And they have come back repeatedly under various grants. And I wanted to
We're done with that.
Caution the person from the Trinity Utility District that it seems like the CWDG is not moving until it does move. Like we went through a long waiting period before our grant kicked into place for the greater Willow Creek community. And they're doing a lot of work constantly. There's a lot of improvement. Just be patient and hope the funding remains in place, which is what we're doing. But it's really valuable, worthwhile, and the thing that is great about it is that it's what the community members want and identify as their needs. And that's one thing that the Watershed Center has been very good about doing with the people on South Fork Road. We do have one big issue on South Fork Road in that there's a person who owns a couple of miles on the bottom of South Fork Road who refuses to participate and basically is holding the community hostage to his overgrown fuel. And I don't know what can be done or if anything can be done about that, but it's something that is, my belief is it's the worst part of the road now. And it's a road where there's one way in and one way out presently. And so it's something that we would really welcome the RCD or the Watershed Center in trying to help us resolve. And also regarding the Watershed Center, and I think this group generally, that it's so good to hear that agencies and organizations and nonprofits are overlapping and working together on the same projects, because it's the reason that originally I started coming to these meetings is because we were downriver, we were stuck, we were like in a no man's land, and there were lots of big events happening. And by coming to you, we actually started to be able to make order and make sense out of it. And just this last month, the Humboldt County RCD has been out to an area that our tribe has a cultural easement, and because it wasn't in any of the wildfires or the snow down, it was just like left and nothing could be done there because we weren't in the Knob, we weren't in the Six Rivers, we weren't in the Monument, we weren't in the second Six Rivers, but they actually came out, and Olivia and Christina from RCD came, and they're actually putting something in place outside of the other grants to actually help us do some fuels reduction. And that's going to help inform the mapping project, the radar mapping project that we're going to have going on at the end of August. And so it's really important that this group continues to meet and continues to collaborate and get along. And when I was listening to you discussing, the letters of support, I think that processing how to work together is what this committee is about. And so taking the time to process what you need to do in certain situations is what we're doing here. And it's very worthwhile. And I really appreciate the group and all the people that are involved with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dina. Any questions for Dina?
Dina, I reached out to Humboldt County RCD after your report last month regarding Friday Ridge, and Katrina told me a little bit about the project you were talking about on the easement, but she said that if there were other project areas on Friday Ridge that weren't being captured by the work already identified and in planning, to bring it up, not to guarantee that all of it would be feasible, but at least that they know that's a priority.
Yeah, I've been reaching out to Katrina, and there's an area that's going down into a popular swimming hole, Sandy Bar, that also is a sensitive area for us, and figuring out how the Forest Service and the tribe and the cannabis owner, who all have a stake there, can take better care of that road is something. She and one of our elders went out and they surveyed it, and Katrina told me that that area is going to be in the next round of projects. So she's really on top of it, and I appreciate you reaching out and her continuing to follow up. Thank you.
That's great to
Thank
hear.
you. Okay, I think Dave from TPUD to jump off.
No, I'm here.
Oh, that's right. The pretty picture. I was looking for the name.
Oh, I'm the pretty picture. And Dina, thank you for the words of encouragement. Yeah, we're just holding our breath. It's a huge windfall of money for projects in this county. $9.7 million is no small thing. And when it got whatever it got it that I've heard some encouraging things. I've heard just wait, but we have projects ready to go as soon as the funds are released. As for other projects we're doing, I have tree crews working around between Cedar Stock up to Covington, trimming and removing hazard trees. There's also hazard tree removal throughout the system, Hayfork, Kine Palm, Douglas City. We want to commend the Forest Service for getting on that Helena fire. If that thing would have taken off, we could have had miles of power line burned up in a very inaccessible area. So I was happy to see them get that knocked out this last month. We had quite the thunderstorm downdraft here in town on the first of the month, and also the fire on Rush Creek. That Cal Fire did an excellent job on stopping that. I was happy to see that. That's another one that could have affected the entire community if it would have got into the Western Area Power transmission line that feeds all our transmission or all our substations. So, yeah, Other than that, I got some CAL FIRE crews, conservation crews working Valdora Road area, and just awaiting project funding for some bigger projects. But right now, it's just business as usual. Thanks. I'll take any questions if anybody has any.
Any questions for Dave and CPUD? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to RCD. I think. Let's see, I think Jerry wanted to have Kelly report on the collaborative, but anybody, Shay, you want to? Yes, sir.
Sure, I can kick us off. Very relevant to the last minute letter of support. The RCD, and in collaboration with the Watershed Center, is going to preparing an application for the CAL FIRE grant that's due on August 6th. And we still haven't finalized the actual area yet, which is why the letter wasn't prepared yet, but it's mostly going to be to help fund the chipping program, as some of the Forest Service funding for that might not exist after this coming year. So we're mostly going to apply for that grant for that purpose, but we will prepare a letter. It will hopefully be, I'm expecting to have a letter of support done by next week. And we'll send it to this, to the group so that everyone can have ample time to look it over.
Could you revisit what funding is not depleted for chipping so that you're doing?
The resource, the RAC committee.
And the title.
Yeah. And the title.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, we're just gonna try and hopefully find ways to fill that gap.
Yeah.
Our crews, our fuels crews are currently working on private land, the PALs, because the PALs is keeping us from working on public land. So they're doing a lot of defensible space and roadside chipping in the Sawyer and downriver, other downriver neighborhoods, and eventually going to move to Odin Flat Road. So that's where our fuels crews are. Our forestry crews are still working on stand exams at the Big Ranch area. But they'll also be, and then I think next week they'll be transitioning to McConnell project, because phase 2 of the McConnell project, or the Trinity Hazard Mitigation Project, has finally been approved, which is this big FEMA grant that is such a big relief. And so we're really happy that it finally got greenlit. And so I have unfortunately no information on schedule yet. We are meeting next week with the McConnell Foundation to get our contract signed and figure out when the contractors can start, and we'll hopefully hear news of what their contract looks like, and we will get some more details on when we can get work started. But they're hoping to start ASAP, wherever LOPs or other things or other key things might limit them. But yeah, we're really excited to be starting, and I hope to have more information next week. But please, if I can answer any of those questions now, I'd love to. What else? Oh, and then, yeah, it's really nice. And then we actually just submitted an ask for a BLM grant yesterday for 1.4 million. We'll see if that full ask gets accepted, but it's mostly to apply for stewardship funding for the WCF, and also to extend the forestry's support to all BLMs in northern Trinity County. So we could possibly help in the Jennings Ridge area, Lewiston, and other projects that help their dwindling staff, unfortunately. So we'll see what comes of that.
What's the timeline to know?
They hope to have us back by next month, an answer by next month. Yeah, that's biggest things that are happening in forest health rules. So,
just to expand on that too, I think it's been mentioned, but we are calculating that we're going from WCF. The stewardship for WCF is moving from that 3,300 acres right here in the basin to 60,000 acres for all of kind of Middle Trinity. So that includes lands that are out in Lewiston, Douglas City, Junction City, downriver, here in the town, and even over on the Hayfork side. So that was at the suggestion of the BLM, so that we can assist them in projects and management and maintenance and stewardship of all of those lands. The only exclusive areas, or only areas in the county that are BLM that are excluded from that are the areas way down in South County.
So like
Which are part of, like way down, like way down by the, like North Fork Eel Wilderness. There's some pieces down in there that I think total out to something like 14,000 acres or something like that, but because they're outside of the Reading field office's purview, they're managed by a coastal off-field office. They're not including those, but everything in Middle Trinity is basically included.
So that 1.4 million looks to expand with the area extension?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have an idea of the price?
Well,
Or
that's where we're looking at 1.4 for that, for what will now take over is the 60,000 in Northern Trinity.
Well, we're looking at 5-year time period.
Over a 5-year time period.
It just seemed like if the 1.4 originally applied to 3,300 and now you're going to 60,000, that.
Oh, no. These previous grants, it had been like the most you could ask for was like 300,000. Like it was, we were getting like 20,000, like
Yeah, when
increments of like
we
50.
initiated the 2015 version of this stewardship agreement, they did it with $20,000. That was it. And then we had a few little additions, but that was all discretionary funds with the field office. This is a separate offering from the Washington, like headquarters. But because of the expansion, that's why we're asking for more.
I understand. Thank you.
Okay. Kelly, I think Jerry wanted to know, he's gonna refer the collaborative over to you. Report out. He had to jump off, so we didn't catch up before.
Okay.
We didn't get him in on. I thought we were gonna be fine on the early reporting, but it's all been done. So
Sure. Were we done with the Trinity County RCD? Is that pretty much everything?
Sure.
Well, we only had this at Sherry.
Okay.
I mean, I was part of the stakeholders meeting at the beginning of the month, and then I've been helping Eric and Dylan with the Weaverville Community Forest Fuel Break with the mapping stage of that.
Great. Yeah, I guess I would just state, and this can be tied in with the collaborative, because we had a field tour on June 27th for the Weaverville Fuel Breaks project, which is largely being focused on Forest Service lands within the Weaver Basin, and as part of the Weaverville Community Forest. And I think that was relatively well received as far as, we're at a fairly early stage of the planning on that process. It's a partner-led NEPA funded through what was originally dubbed the Wildfire Crisis Strategy funding. And so we're at very early planning stages of that, but we're now finalizing a project footprint, and we'll be presenting that to the forest here relatively soon. And that will be, the feedback that we received and the conversations that we had with the collaborative on that field tour were very helpful and very insightful. So that was a very useful bit of input that we received, both from Forest Service staff as well as the actual collaborative itself. And then earlier this month, we had our standard rec committee meeting and our collaborative general meeting, at which point, I don't know if he reported any of this at all, but it sounds like as far as the fire cameras, that was one of the topics that we had discussed. We have, I think now we've gone up from 2 cameras in the county to, I believe that it was, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Larry can correct me on this, but I think there's now 4 additional cameras that are online currently. Big Peak, Tom Head, I think Hayfork Bali, and there's and Lime Dyke. And
it's Lime Dyke, Picket Peak, Knob Peak, Tom Head, and Hayfork Bali.
Okay,
I think Van Dyke, he said, Velocity has the contract, but they haven't actually installed it yet or something like that.
No, it's working.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that one, the one that's,
Which one was when Velocity?
I think that the one that they're looking at next is Ironsides. So Ironside is, I think, the next one that's gonna go in. And then the two that have been questionable because of the nature of the location are the Breathy Ridge one and Bonanza King. But still working towards getting those very important cameras up also, so. Yeah, so I don't know, Larry, do you have anything to add to from this month's meeting?
Well, I was gonna report about, the proposed field trip for the middle of August is to South Fork Mountain to see the joint project between Six Rivers and Shasta Trinity. I'm also want to report that I feel that the southern part of the county feels pretty well covered now by these new fire cameras with the extreme southeastern portion there with Knob Peak and Tom Head, and with Pickett Peak being able to see almost all of South County, and then Lime Dyke seeing the sort of middle area there along the South Fork. It's great. Those were all blind spots before.
Great, yeah, thank you. Yeah, so that field tour for South Fork Mountain, the South Fork Mountain project will be on August 15th. I guess, was there anything else that?
Yeah, I just wanna, so the other thing that I brought up at the collaborative meeting is that would interest the Fire Safe Council is we haven't really been able to get a lot of details as far as what's going on with the North Trinity County Community Risk Reduction Project. We're still trying to figure out what the prescriptions are, if they've applied for EAB, and all that kind of stuff. So we asked, and nobody could answer those questions at that collaborative meeting. So it's on the agenda for next meeting in August, September, to kind of figure out what's going on with that project.
Is that the one with the jurisdiction, like confusion?
Yeah,
Okay.
so this was a project that was started by the Shasta Lake Ranger District, because they've been, managing and maintaining the National Recreation Area, but that National Recreation Area is now transferred over, the administration of it is transferred to the Trinity River Management Unit and Weaverville Ranger District. And so, so they've retained that project versus handing it off, because they had they have a standalone interdisciplinary team that was managing that. And so because of that, they've sort of, somewhat still stepped back, I guess, from the collaborative and report out to the collaborative. We just need to get some clarification and have some answers to some questions that the collaborative has for the progress on that project. And the personnel that happened to be at that meeting were not in the know. I think that's about it.
Okay, for RCD, okay, any questions?
Collaborative.
For collaborative RCD? Kill two birds with one stone now?
Yep.
Okay, Trinity County OES. Well, Skylar and I were talking, she came by the other day, and I think it might have even been prior to this, but there was some questions for last month's meeting that I missed about Ready Trinity and some of the, maybe some questions and concerns. We have been working through a few gaps that we've come upon, and the alerting side of the platform is doing really well. There's been a team created of people that put the alerts out and also putting out the status changes of the zones. So, and they test weekly on that system. I think the Rush Fire was the first. Really, we were actually planning to do a test that day, and then when we got the message, it was, this is not a test. So that went really well, and we've had several other chances to put alerts out too with a fire down in Junction City along the highway. We had I had a fire at Hayfork the other night. So that's working really well. I think that Carol had some questions last month about the packets. I'm sorry.
No flyers. We asked for
Yeah.
flyers for our fire, 4th of July pancake breakfast, and so the flyers said Ready Trinity, no, Code Red is now Ready Trinity. That's all it says on the flyer, and it's got a QR code. And it's like, well, if you don't know what Code Red does, then
You don't know what Trinity
you know,
does.
and did they just change the name? Do I have to re-enroll?
Yeah.
So we have these flyers and we got more questions like, well, what does this mean? Versus actually trying to hand out something like you need to sign up for Ready Trinity, or if there's a difference or whatever. So anyway, I was just complaining as usual.
Well, no, and it's,
Whining.
it brought up a good point, and we actually put the planning team back together for a meeting. Skylar was there, and we brought back, there was a flyer that showed the steps of how to sign up for Ready Trinity that they're bringing back, and we're putting more information on the website. I'm hoping that more information is going to go out on the Facebook page, but I really want to, they really wanted to concentrate and push everybody to the website. And I think that the face-to-face connection and answering questions, because people can't ask questions on the website. So been working with Caleb on that and getting more information out and building a little bit more intuitive partner kit. So any other questions that come up or any concerns that people have, I've answered a lot of questions on the phone from after the fire in Hayfork. We've also incorporated a team that when the alert goes out, they also get the alert right off the bat. And they can, and this is the problem, they wanted me to transfer my phone at my office to this phone. And basically, you know, when there's an emergency, because when the I'm sorry, this is Philip. Oh, whatever. We have I think, did they put out I just got a Ready Trinity alert. Oh, yeah, no, I'm sorry, I didn't. That was my voicemail. Sorry, it's on the voice. So, no, wait a second, that's
Ready
the
Trinity
alert.
alerts, you're looking at me.
Yeah, I was like,
here.
I clocked for the antenna. That was my voicemail that I was listening to. Okay, let's go back to, there's some kinks, obviously. No. No. It keeps trying to call me. Anyway, I'll try to get through it so I can answer the darn phone. And it might just be that when people call my office, sometimes they call HHS and they see Office of Emergency Services and they call me and go, I missed my CalFresh appointment. We're you know, we've pretty much gotten that narrowed down. But anyway, besides the point, we put also put an alert team, kind of an alert team together for the Ready Trinity site. So when they hear they get the initial alert that goes out, they're already got the information to go onto the website and start posting some things. So if people, because in the alerts, it says for more information, go to readytrinity.org. So we're trying to get information on that site quickly. And you can just push on it when it texts you, you can just push on it. It'll go right to the event page. So we've been working on that a lot to make sure that we can get the information to people. And then I will, as I hear the information on the radio come across, I will also text that alerting team so they can update if we know it's a CAL FIRE, if it's Forest Service, you know, narrow down where it's at, any information we can get. And then also, you know, what evacuations are going on and things like that. So, yeah, I told you, I knew before you did.
Yeah, probably.
A second item, Blue Lake Rancheria has reached out to me today. They're putting on a summit on August 5th It's a Listos, KLOES Listos Disaster Ready Summit. And Andrew Bogar, who is the emergency manager for Blue Lake now, he used to be our Red Cross representative, called me and said, hey, are you planning to come to this? And I said, well, I wasn't. He says, well, we have some speakers and we would like to have a hometown hero come and speak at this. And I thought, well, that's a nice compliment. He goes, do you know anybody? And when the wind blew out of my sail, I don't know if I caught it all, but anyway, what they're looking for, he was looking for some suggestions from Trinity County that may have somebody that may have shined, like in some of the last major incidents, like, you know, the Monument Fire, a hometown hero that may have really stepped up. And I thought that this was a good place to bring this up because we have our awards going on. You know, we have our ambassadors, we have our local area advisors. So I wanted to kind of put that out, and if anybody has some suggestions of somebody, I'm trying to find out if there's a Zoom option, so they don't have to, it's just a one-day, it's a one-day event on August 5th at the Reading Ranch, the Blue Lake Rancheria. They're serving breakfast. Breakfast starts at 8. Event starts right afterwards. They have a free lunch included. You know, and I can send, if anybody's interested, I can send over the link to it. But if you have somebody in mind that you think that we could represent and send to this, or at least, you know, like I say, I'll find out if there's a Zoom option. Since I'm not the hometown hero, I guess. And then on a final note, and I was going to kind of wait till the very, very end of it, but we still have a lot of people to go, and before a lot of people drop out. But I wanted to make a formal announcement. This will be my last Fire State Council meeting. I am retiring on the end of the day next Thursday from my position as at the Office of Military Services. It's a heavy, heavy heart, and I just wanted to I don't want you guys hearing it through somewhere else or whatever's going on. Yes, I am retiring at the end of the day on Thursday. I do plan to, you know, it was Carol, the Sheriff's Department, Chris Corbett. I was like, okay, you know, these are the people in jail, of course, that I work with so closely. And I want to continue to, in some aspect, be able to continue to work with you guys. I don't know what I'm going to do come Friday morning. I'm not even going to get to sleep in because my dogs get up at 5. And so my wife will continue to work. I am going to continue to work. I will go back into working at some sort, but I feel that in the climate of things that are kind of going on, that maybe this department needs a fresh set of eyes and some new ideas. I think that we've done a lot in the department over 3 years and a lot of great projects. And it pains me to say that I won't be there in August. But anyway, that is my report out. I'm sorry to say, but you know. So collaborative group, I think we got everything pretty well covered. So we'll go to Board of Supervisors with Jill.
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry. Do we have?
well, first,
Oh,
thank you for being our chair.
yeah, I know that, and I hate to leave this in such a short notice that my chairman position, I don't even know how long we were discussing that. We're trying to keep me from having to go a year 4. But and I don't know if I can even still chair it because the fact that it's kind of written as OES or the fire department. So if that was the case, if it wasn't, I would be back here next month because I love this. I love what everybody does. But I want to stay in some sort of capacity with what I've been doing for 3 years, and so I'm trying to find something that keeps me engaged in this community and doing the same thing. So, yeah, I love being your chairman for, like I say, I'm on over 2 years now, and I love what you guys do in RCD and everybody. So, but if anybody wants to step up to fill my little shoes for a chair position till the end of my term, I would really appreciate it.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Both to the county and that's the Fire Safe Council. You've been great to work with.
I love doing it. And like I say, whatever I can continue to do, I will. I just can't do it in the capacity that I have to this point. So.
Congratulations on retirement.
Thank you. I never thought I'd retire. But I am 65. I'm almost there. I have 14 more months for Social Security, so I gotta go find something to keep me busy for, for a little over a year. But no, I'll keep working. Like I say, my family doesn't retire easy. My dad never did retire. He retired 4 times. And he was still fire chief when he passed away, so at 91. So yeah, we stick around. So I do plan to keep working. So I will definitely, yeah, you guys, everybody knows how to do. Skyrim knows how to get a hold of me, but my phone, not that one anymore, but my other phone, this phone will always be available to anybody that has questions.
You could join your local volunteer fire department, and then you could be the chairman.
Well, yeah, I know Todd's already working on me. Brian Ward's trying to get me into SAR. He says, I need people like you. And I said, I can't climb a mountain. I'm 65. He goes, I got those. I need people that know how to do mapping and radios and the stuff that you already do. And I went, okay, maybe I can do that. Because yeah, I'm not going away. They're gonna, I'm not bad for them.
Well, I hope that the county can find somebody at least somewhat equal to what you have contributed in part for what we need. And your constant diligent searching for how to fill those needs has just been unmatched by anything I've seen. So thank you. You would be deeply missed.
I was.
Truly. Our departments are all done.
Yeah, I can only work for one at a time. My wife was kind of good. You don't run wild. Keep home when I get home. Jill, do you have a report?
Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Dina.
Hello? When I was listening to you, Phil, when you got the call from Blue Lake, I felt the same way you did. I thought he was going to nominate you. And since he didn't, I want you as a person because you were just new to the job during the monument fire. And you made a point of always being there for all of our meetings. And that had never happened from Trinity County before. And not only did we have monument, we had the knob fire going on and the sheriffs coming and going. And like you really, really stepped up. And that was after we'd had that snow disaster where Trinity County the OES was on Christmas break. And so it was a dramatic change to us. And so I think that you should be nominated. And because you're the head of the OES for our county, it's appropriate. So I nominate you.
Oh, thank you. I will let Andrew know that, yeah, I did tell him that I would not be with the agency as of the end of the month. So, but I don't feel like a hometown hero. I just feel like a good host to this county, and I do whatever I can to make a difference and make it better. And I have to say I will continue. But Dina, thank you so much. And I loved working with the Snugboy tribe in my capacity too. Thank you. Okay, so Chris from Flora, kind of an early departure. So did you want to report out real quick?
Thank you. Sorry about that. I searching for the mute. I didn't say I had an early departure because I figured be done by 3, but I got to be on by 3. So thanks so much. And I'm sorry for jumping ahead, but there are a couple things I wanted to share. Just informationally, I think I mentioned last month that we received another technical assistance. Post Mountain VFD received another technical assistance grant from NCRP. Flora is assisting with more work associated with the Blue Fire restoration. things are looking good with the RCD. I'm waiting for the go ahead to start working on the sequel, although maybe I already have it. So I'll be reaching out to Skylar to see if that's a go ahead. But then also I wanted to share something with the group and see if you could kind of scratch your head. And I did receive some help from Jill. Thank you, Jill. The clean energy grant that we had discussed about getting power to Post Mountain and kind of relevantly to this group, power for the fire station, which would be really great to have some power down there. We have a quote from Trinity Public Utility District. Thank you, TPUD. We are working on a quote for a microgrid. And we had a good meeting with an engineer earlier this month to talk about a microgrid option. And actually I got a call a couple days ago from a guy who wants to bid on building one, which is awesome, a microgrid. But still having a challenge reaching out to PG&E. Jill, your contact, I think you may have seen, just ultimately just said, write me a proposal and then we'll process it. Well, we wrote a proposal back in January just to connect the fire station, and haven't heard a single response. Plus, we really need to have a conversation with PG&E. The county and the stakeholders need to have a conversation with PG&E about what it would entail to connect PG&E lines to the community. This is, the community, as you know, the communities have a lot of questions and concerns, and they want to make sure it's done right. And to simply submit a request and say, I've got 200 customers, give me a quote. I mean, who knows when they'll get back to us. The grant is set to expire next February. We need to make sure we have communications with PG&E by then. So, we're, like I said, we're working well with the other two providers. If anybody has any idea, any connections to PG&E, we've reached out to Brandon Sanders. He's kind of pushing it up the chain. Not getting a response. Talked to Rory Barrett, who I guess many of you may know, but also a bit of a challenge. So I don't know if there's another strategy, but we've had nothing but good luck working with TPUD. We've had great experience working with engineers, but just kind of breaking the silence, it seems, at PG&E to have a real sit-down discussion about what would it take to bring power to Post Mountain has been eluding us. So I'm hopeful that somewhere in this group there may be an idea, and I'd love if somebody would reach out to me.
Chris, I was helping you. I didn't realize you'd hit that wall.
Yeah, sorry. You've done a lot, Jill. So I didn't want to. So it's not. This is not on you. I didn't want to keep coming up to you, but I thought maybe there was a larger.
You're okay. I'll work it.
Okay. Great.
Is that it, Chris?
That's it. And thanks everybody for.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
And I'm sorry, Jill, we kind of brushed over you.
No, you're perfectly good. I don't think I have anything to report out that's relevant to the interests of this group. I do want to echo my gratitude though for the fire responses that we've had so far. Helena and Rush Creek, as Dave already mentioned, and I was in Alaska when Helena was on fire, and I'm watching my phone and worrying, and then we're good. So it's just so great to have that outcome.
So is there anything happening with secure schools?
So from what I understand, Jamie is in Washington yet again today. I know. I think he should just buy a second home there. And so beyond the bad news we've had of recent, I don't have an update that's any more positive.
Washington State or Washington DC?
DC.
So question, so I was reading yesterday about the air curtain burner that the county put some money towards, so is that like enough to buy one, or is it a down payment, or what's?
Yeah, I know that air curtain burner. I just hope we don't have this isn't history repeating itself. Air curtain burner should be better than a tuck grinder, right? Okay. So that was just an allocation, like a redirecting of funds that they already had And so the total cost of an air current burner, I haven't researched that. Kelly, you might know.
My understanding that this particular one, which is not a full standing air current burner like we would, you know, that's utilized usually for like biomass and biochar, you know, processing. It's a smaller one that's basically like a trailer that can be hooked up to a pickup truck and then taken out on site for, it's the weed management association in the county is what sort of has pushed this forward. And so my understanding was that they were, when they researched it, it was something like $80,000 or $90,000.
Well, 90,000 is what got it moved aside, so.
My understanding is it's been ordered.
Oh.
Got to come all the way from Florida or something. But yeah. We had a meeting of the weeds committee yesterday. My understanding is it got ordered, so.
That's great.
And it's crucial to the weeds committee to, because when these noxious weeds get pulled, if they're not properly disposed of, then they just spread the problem everywhere.
For sure.
Noxious weeds typically, even when once you pull them, if they're already setting seed, they will actually finish setting seed, and then if that gets, say, dumped in a, you know, solid waste or something like that, they just continue to propagate. So burning them will, you know, both get rid of the biomass aspect of it, but it will also help eliminate a lot of the seed potential. So yeah, it's a great get for the county.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Pretty stoked for you guys. I'd love to get one for us, for our side.
Shasta County?
No, Trinity. We're in Fort Worth.
South Fort, gotcha.
So Jill, another thing, so is there still a good neighbor authority agreement with the Forest Service in the county?
There is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was used for this purchase as well, that all of that, we threw everything into the mix for that.
Wait a minute, the G&A money went for the air curtain burner?
No money, but just invoking that authority.
Oh, nice, very cool.
Great, thank you.
Carol? No report. Okay, okay. Thank you. Safe, Larry?
Yeah, well, I've kind of talked about things already, but I just want to remind everybody that this field trip's pretty important to me. I've been pushing for the shaded fuel break on South Fork Mountain for as long as I've been coming to meetings, so I'm real interested to see how this is developing up there. And before I sign off, I just want to say, Phil, you've set the bar for what OES is in Trinity County now. I mean, it didn't even seem to exist before you took over. So I think you've set quite a good standard for anybody that follows you to live up to.
Well, I hope, thank you very much. Yeah, I hope that I can leave enough behind to keep them flowing. I've got a lot of work everything's in place for several years of grants and purchases for equipment and keeping them. So, but thank you very much. I'll keep working.
Yeah, not when we test our siren.
I'm gonna go there. Air quality management, Casey.
Hi, everyone. You guys mentioned the air curtain burner, so I just wanted to throw it out there that those are subject to federal regulations, and so you guys can reach out to me and I can put you in contact with the right air quality folks for permitting of those. I know I mentioned this in May, but we do have the grant funds available for fees associated with the smoke management plans and the permits for those. Also, since we are, we're still a little bit out from the fall burn season, but that is coming up. So I just wanted to also put the little reminder out there that smoke management plans need to be submitted 30 days prior to a burn, so that way we have plenty of time to review it and approve it. And so the more time, the better. I just wanted to throw that reminder out there.
So if I have the weeds management coordinator person get a hold of you, or it's somebody else in the federal government?
Is someone else in our air quality office here? But I can, if you get a hold of me, I can pass the information along, and put you guys in contact with the right person.
All right, her name's Victoria Yates, and I'll try and put her in touch with you.
Okay. I can throw my contact information in the chat.
That'd be great.
Okay, I think that's everybody that I have on the list for our list. Is there anybody else on the board or in the room? That one report out, Emily.
I don't really have much to report, just that my Grizzly Corps term comes to an end at the end of this month, so next week. But I am joining on the Fire Safe Council as a project coordinator starting next month. I'm going to take 2 weeks off to go to Ohio and visit my family, road trip with my dad. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun serving with the RCD and with the Fire Safe Council for the last year. So thank you for welcoming me into the community, and I'm really excited to stay on.
Congratulations. Glad you're staying here.
I'm really excited about it.
Okay, thank you. You have anything?
No.
To report out? Okay, if anybody, if it's not, let's see. Next meeting is today. I have July 24th on down for the next meeting, so. Next meeting will be
August 28th.
August 28th. If you have any suggestions, anything that you'd like to present or bring up at the meeting, please bring them forward. I hope to tune in and just listen to all your guys' great ideas. Other than that, if that is everything, thank you all again for attending, and thank you for everything that you guys do. Have a good day.
Go. Thanks, Phil.
Thanks, Phil.